if you missed it, my name is Lily. We just came out of an awesome trail race where I still somehow managed to come into third place. So I'm gonna work on that. But welcome to Unlocked Church Sunday service. We're so glad that you're here with us today. Happy Mother's Day. If you are a mom, thank you. The world literally could not exist without you. We're so glad that you're all here with us today. If you're a kid, I miss you. Say hi to me in the chat room, would you please? It's going to be an awesome morning. We have a lot planned for you guys. Mom, stick around. We have a gift and a fun surprise for you at the end. Please enjoy. We hope you feel honored today. We are talking about how to be a warrior in 2020, and specifically temptation. What does that look like? How do you deal with it? So we're gonna tackle that later on, but right now, I gotta throw it to Brian and his family as I gotta throw it to him because he has something really fun planned. His whole family, a song, some music, probably dancing, and it's kids. So, I mean, you just never know what to expect with kids. So as I head on out, Brian, I'm throwing it to you. Enjoy.
Happy Mother's Day. My name is Brian. Welcome to the kitchen with my family. My lovely wife is running all the cameras and the technology this morning. We're gonna spend some time together singing songs and worshiping. And I brought the crew here to help me out. So to illustrate the point that it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be great all the time, and it doesn't have to be the only thing that we're doing. Like, I have a lot of worship time while I'm working, while I'm mowing the lawn. So the girls are coloring, Marshall is doing Marshall stuff. But we're gonna sing a song together, and if you know it, sing along. And as you learn it, join us. Sing it out. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, moving in this place. I worship you, I worship you. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 Sing it with me, even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop. Say it one more time. Even when I don't see it, you're working. light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Sing it one more time. Sing it out. Come on. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are.
Brian, great job on the video, man. I love the song, love everything. Donnelly, so good, keeping the camera steady and try not to laugh as all that was happening. I love that. Just a great Mother's Day, family-centered deal. Donnelly, happy Mother's Day as well to you. And if I can, say to all our moms watching today, happy Mother's Day. Thank you so much for tuning in with us today here at Unlocked Church. We're so glad to have you. My name is Scott Mendenhall. And I know you've heard it like 6 times at least by now. Happy Mother's Day. We just want to make sure you know you're loved. Thanks for raising up the next generation and inspiring those behind you. And if I can leverage a moment with 2 cameras and a microphone in front of me to just say to my mom, if you're watching, happy Mother's Day. I wish I could be there with you. I love you. Thanks for teaching me what it looks like to be a great listener. My mom and her listening skills are next level. I could tell her the same story 10 times and she would act as if she heard it for the first time. It's so impressive. Also, my mom's ability to have grace, but be stern at the same time. I don't even know how she did that, but like not raising her voice. I cannot remember a time, honestly. I can't remember a time my mom yelled at me. I can remember my mom giving me the face, a look. I can remember my mom throwing a salt shaker at me, but I don't remember her ever yelling at me, but she's such a graceful woman. I know she's probably rolling her eyes when she's saying that. She's probably looking back at her parenting moments going, but I remember. No, Mom, you are a phenomenal mom. Thanks for being my mom. I hope I'm making you proud, and I love you. Thanks for always answering the question, what does love require me to do with me? You're amazing. Thanks for teaching me how to go after everything. Even that. My mom, it was last year, came up here, and I have 1 wheels. And my mom was like, I gotta ride one of those while I was here. It's like, okay, I'll go down and get a helmet. I come out, and there's my mom on my 1 wheel. She's out there already. I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? Get off the 1 wheel. Like, put a helmet on, Mom. Like, we got body wrapped for you, and so go. No, Mom. She's on the 1 wheel. She started cruising down the street, riding the 1 wheel. I was trying to hold her hand. She's like, get off my hand. And at that moment, I was reminded, at whatever age you are, always grab an adventure by its horn and go after it. And that's also what my mom's taught me. So she's teaching me how to be a phenomenal listener, how to always have grace even when you're irritated, and to grab an adventure by its horns and have a blast. So thanks, Mom, for teaching me those qualities. And today we're in a series that we are calling Warrior 2020. What are the things we should be fighting for? How to become a warrior in 2020? And you should go back and listen to the other teachings today. We're not going to recap those for time's sake today. We're just glad that you're here with us. If you're a first-time guest, thanks for making the jump either from a one-wheel video or being invited. It's been really cool to see people from all around the world on Sunday mornings, all the way from South Africa. Alan, thanks for saying hi in the chat room last week. How about our friends that are riding a tugboat last week, watching on the Ohio River? That's so cool. We got Luke in England, and then we have locals from Tim and Peg Bailey watching again, and we have Joey and Michaela watching, and Lily and Kristen and Jordan in here. We have the Vernons watching. We have the Adams family. We just got a lot of you guys watching. Thank you. Or not watching, participating, being in the chat room. I just, it's so cool. Thank you. Thank you for being in there today. And if I missed you, it's just because this was pre-recorded and I'm just guessing you're going to be in there. Okay, so let's get to the topic today. It would be, maybe have you ever found yourself, this is the setup, have you ever found yourself doing something that you said you'd never do? Do you oftentimes find yourself doing things that you're like, I wish I wouldn't have done that? There's a famous author out there that says, why is it that do I constantly do the things I don't want to do, and the things I want to do, I never do them? I constantly do the things I don't want to do, and I'm constantly not doing the things I want to do. Anyone? Can I just get a hand wave in the chat room if that's you? I'm waving my hand. I have great expectations on Monday morning. This is what I'm going to do, or out of a teaching moment like this. Tomorrow I'm going to wake up and read my Bible, and I'm going to run, and I'm going to eat healthy, and I oversleep first thing on Sunday or Monday. I eat the wrong thing for breakfast because I'm running late, and then I don't work out because I'm too tired from eating the wrong things, and it's a vicious circle, and I don't do what I want to do, and then I'm really frustrated, then I'm yelling at somebody, and then I'm just miserable, and then all of a sudden the only way I'm gonna deal with it is like, just go be by myself. Because I just feel guilty, I just can't get it right. If that's you, then today is for you and for me. And what does Jesus have to say on this topic? And I'm excited to bring it to you today. And so let's jump into it. If you're brand new around here, we're going to use a very religious term. It's not meant to freak you out or scare you. It's just simply, this is what it is. We're talking about temptation. Temptation, the definition we're using, temptation is always an opportunity to do something for yourself. That's what temptation is. It's always about me. It always feels like it will improve my life. It will make me happier, wealthier, free up some time. Temptation is always self-seeking. I am never tempted to be selfless or tempted to be generous with my time or resources. I always look at this as a man. I am a really nice person or really generous. I'm a really great person. If everyone would just be like me. Temptation is always to improve ourselves. Now, can I set some of you free really quick from this? Temptation is not wrong. Temptation is not the problem, it's the execution of said temptation. And today we're going to walk you through on how temptations work in our mind and the things it takes us through. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12. God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear, but when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. God will provide a way out. You just have to look for the escape door. You got to look. There's a way out. When you are tempted, we're going to face it, but you don't have to follow through the execution. Here's 5 things that happen every single time before someone does the wrong thing. Here's what happens. This is what happens in your mind. These steps can take days, weeks, months, or even a year, or literally you can go through all 5 of these steps in a matter of moments. Here are your 5. We will download them here, right here. The first is the thought. It starts with a thought. It starts in the mind. That's why authors in the Bible talk about taking captive the thoughts in your mind. I always have a phrase in mind, bad thought leave. When I'm thinking fearful thoughts, bad thought leave, I don't want to think about that one. When I am running or walking or whatever and I pass by someone or something and I have a bad thought in my mind, I don't look back a second time and go, woo, I go, bad thought leave. That's not how I want to see that person. That's not right. Because what happens is that if it goes from a thought, there's a step 2 that happens, which is then it moves into the imagination. The thought comes, and if you play out the thought, you begin to imagine yourself either doing something to that person, saying something bad to that person. It becomes an imagination. You play out scenarios. Oftentimes in marriages, when there is an affair that happens, it started with the thought of doing it, then imagining this is what I would do to execute it. This is how I'd play it out. I would leave it this time of the day. And you're not actually doing it yet. You're just moving yourself closer to actually executing said problem. Third thing, then some form of justification. Then we make a choice and then we sin. I'm going to read all 5 really quick for you. In case you miss it, it's right here. The first is a thought. 2, then it moves to imagination. 3, then some form of justification. 4, then a choice. And 5, then we sin. So it's thought, imagination, justification, choice, sin. Bam, there's the equation. There is, when you're looking at your life, the temptation to do something, now you know, okay, I got to stop it in my mind before I ever execute it. Or if you want to adjust a behavior, it starts in the mind. Have you ever think about these temptations? I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to eat right. I'm not going to have ice cream. And so now all of a sudden you sit there and you think about, oh man, ice cream sounds so good. Just chocolate on there and sprinkles and just hot fudge. Oh my gosh, my mouth's watering, right? What are you doing? You're imagining it. You're playing out what it would be like. You're like, yes. And then you open up the freezer just to look at it. You're like, I'll just look at it. Well, you know what? I'll open it and I'll smell it. Oh man, the smell of that. And then it's like, you know what? I deserve this. I walked instead of taking the elevator today. Or what's happening in the world right now, I deserve this extra drink right now. I deserve it. We justify why we think we deserve it. My wife doesn't treat me good, or my husband yells at me, so it'll be okay if I just go and have a drink with this guy. It'll be okay. We justify it. And then after the justification, if we go do that, then all of a sudden it's like, well, I've gone this far. I've opened up the ice cream and I smelt it. I went on a date with the person. I might as well just go all the way now. And then therefore sin gives birth. And now it's like the claws are in us, and what do we do? And many of you are going, why would we talk about temptation on Mother's Day? Why? Because I learned from my mom what to do with temptation and what happened when I failed and I executed said temptation. And it was my mom's words of grace and gentleness that taught me as a young boy on what is the right way to handle temptation. She didn't teach me that she never taught me there will be a day when I'll never be tempted, Scott. She taught me what to do when I was tempted. And if I fall on my face, what to do. I learned those from my mom. That's why we're talking about this today, because as a young little boy, young 8th grade, I remember standing in the kitchen and I tell my mom, we went on a field trip, but I met up with my friends at a supermarket and we spiked our Gatorade and we got trashed on our field trip to go see where our President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, grew up in Illinois, and I'm in the back of the bus like wanting to puke my brains out, and I've told my mom all of this, and she didn't smack me across the face or ground me. She just asked, well, what do you want to do? How do you feel? And I just begin to break down, and I feel bad, and I feel this, and then she walked me through. So why are we talking about this today? Because this is a principle taught to me from my mom, but my mom learned it from Jesus. So what I'm trying to say is my mom's like next to Jesus, okay? There's God, Jesus, and then my mom, okay? That's what I'm saying. That's why it makes sense. Okay, when I write down those 5 things, the thoughts, imagination, justification, choice, sin, what happens in those first critical moments of temptation is more important than you can imagine. Decide ahead of time how you will fight. Today is determining a crucial step in your life, going, I'm going to fight temptation. I'm going to identify when it's temptation, when I'm all about self-seeking and not other people. Okay, if this is all about me, then I need to identify, now what do? What's my steps when I recognize that thought isn't good nor healthy? I now need to do what? The author James, who we used a lot about last week, James is Jesus' half-brother, writes in his book that he authored titled James chapter 4, verse 7, submit yourselves then to God, resist the devil, and he will flee. This is that setup. It's a bit of an equation. Submit to God, saying, God, you're the Lord of my life, the CEO of my life. I want to do right by you, which is important. And then James goes on and says, resist the devil. I don't want to do the things the devil wants me to do. When I'm faced with temptation, it doesn't line up with what God wants me to do. I'm going to resist the devil and he will flee. But it's submitting. The first part of it is you submit to God. You submit to God. We in Western culture really don't want to be under anyone. We want to be our own boss. And to submit sounds like weakness, but that's exactly what Jesus invites us into, a relationship where we become underneath him and say, okay, you lead, I follow. We are going to define submit like this: accept or yield to a superior force or to the authority or will of another person. That's what we're saying we need to do with Jesus, is we get to submit our will. We need to first go, Jesus, is this the wise house to purchase? Is this the right move for me? Should I be dating that person? Should I do these? It's submitting all of those things. I wrote it like this. Some of you need to acknowledge that what you are doing is wrong and sinful, and that's where you need to start. It could be the way you've handled the self-quarantining and the self-distancing, all of those things. You might be handling that wrong. You might have gone off the deep end in the way you're thinking or justifying, I'm treating that person like that because, man, I'm just under a lot of stress, or I'm not eating healthy right now because of this, and we justify all these things. We just got to recognize I'm not doing it right and make adjustments. We've got to understand that, listen, this time's going to pass, the virus is going to pass, and it'll be all gone, but the way we walk through it and execute it, that story will always be told. I'm thinking about the way my kids, when they're my age, will tell the stories. Oh yeah, when we were locked into our house, this is what we did. This is how many times my dad yelled at me and I got grounded the whole time. Or is it, man, it was one of the best times ever. We did this at night, we camped, we did, and the story is being written, and we have got to choose to do it right by God first, not by the way we're raising our kids or into. Well, how's God asking us to walk through it? We live in a society of masterful justifiers. We can justify anything. We are pumped ads to justify what we're about to do and spend our money on and go into debt for. It's great marketing. Sadly, we buy into it, but this is how I wrote it in my notes. We live in a society of masterful powerful justifiers. Everybody else is doing it. It's just the way it is nowadays. It's just the way God made me. If I didn't have this desire, if God didn't want me to have this desire, he wouldn't have given it to me. So God understands. I deserve it. Nobody else knows. This is just my one little thing. Woo-hoo! All of those lead to a destruction of your future self, your dreams, and your relationships. To justify is scary because we're not being led by God or someone that's wiser than us. We are being led by ourselves, we're our own worst enemy. Have you ever said that about yourself? I'm my own worst enemy. Jesus comes along and says the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And a lot of people go, oh, that's the devil. And it probably is. But when I think about who has the greatest potential to rob my future hopes and dreams, it's me, myself. I carry myself everywhere. When I go to make a decision, who's there first? Me. When I make the wrong decision, who's there? Me. When I make a good decision, me. Yeah, I'm always there. I'm my worst own enemy. You're your own worst enemy. So why would we constantly trust ourselves? Don't we need to be around people who go, I don't think that's the wise thing for you to do right now. In love and in respect, not in hatred or manipulation, but out of genuine, I love you. I don't think that's wise. Listen carefully. If you are doing anything inconsistent with God's word, that is sinful behavior. And some of you need to start there and acknowledge it. This is wrong. When it comes to anger, it leads to a horrible temper. God says, don't get angry fast. When you have a temper and you're losing your temper fast, that's a problem. We got to fix that. Quitting. God says, don't quit. Keep moving. I'm right there with you. I'll never leave you or forsake you. When we quit and we're all right with just giving up on life and things, oh, wrong. We got to lean into Jesus and say, Jesus, help me. To speak your mind without love is hurtful. Stop just sharing your mind. And don't say, well, they know I love them. No. Again, thing I learned from my mom would tell me I'm doing stupid things all the time without telling me I'm doing stupid things, and I knew exactly what she was saying. I remember my mom speaking so loudly yet so quietly. I can't remember a time my mom yelling at me. Now, she's probably watching, I know, many. Now, I can remember times when my mom threw salt shakers at me, but I cannot remember for the life of me a moment where my mom yelled at me, but she did have a look. And when she whispered with the look, I knew if I didn't sort my stuff out, I was in big trouble. And I got to think that when we speak our mind with no love, it is so scary and dangerous. With all of the 5 things that we've talked about, recognizing temptation, how it starts and leads to a problem from the mind to imagination, to justification, choice, and sin, I want to read a story that depicts this very well, that somebody that did it right. Genesis chapter 39, verse 2. The Lord was with Joseph so that he prospered, and he lived in the house with his Egyptian masters. So Joseph is a slave. Joseph, though he is a slave, prospered at everything. So he's a good man, good character, not without sin. He just was trying to do the right thing. We would probably label him, in today, he's a follower of Jesus, right? But Jesus hadn't come yet, so he's a follower of God. He's doing the right things, and God was with him, and he prospered in everything he did. And as a slave, he lived in the house of the master's house, which is a pretty big deal. The story goes, and you can read it for yourself, where the wife of Potiphar's wife, the owner of the plantation, is out, and Potiphar's wife comes in and looks at Joseph. Whoa, that dude good looking. Wow, Joseph, like, man, you're good looking. Would you like to go to bed with me? And Joseph said no. This happened repeatedly. You can read this story in Genesis chapter 39. And he keeps repeatedly saying no. One day she comes in, sees Joseph in the kitchen. She grabs him, says, let's go to bed. And he takes off. He runs away from her. There was this, temptation to go to bed with Potiphar's wife. And he decides that I'm not going to sit here and imagine it. I'm not going to justify, well, I'm a slave guy. And you know what? Mr. Potter, he has me in charge of everything. It'll be all right. No, he runs. So the first thing we've got to learn here in all of this is that, yes, this thought, but you've got to run from what keeps putting the thought in your mind. You can't constantly put yourself in the same spot and expect your mind to not continue going back to the same place. I wrote it like this: why resist the temptation tomorrow if I have the power to eliminate it today? I'm going to read that one more time because that's pretty big. Why resist the temptation tomorrow if I have the power to eliminate it today? We have right here Joseph, who is eliminating it today. Okay, I'm out. I'm running out of the kitchen. No more. I'm eliminating this temptation. She now knows clearly I don't want anything to do with her. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 14. Do not set foot on the path of the wicked or walk in the way of the evildoers. Avoid it. Do not travel on it. Turn from it and go on your way. Book of Proverbs is about wisdom. This is wisdom. So here's what I need you to do is put this in the context of your temptation, where you face the most amount of temptation. Maybe it's when you look in the mirror and you don't think you're worth anything, yet you are creating God's image. And every time you say, I'm not good enough, pretty enough, you're saying, God, you didn't do well. Maybe you need to put this up there and go, okay, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to change my thought, because it's going to be hard not to go to a mirror. But we've got to begin to put things in our lives that are going to allow us to create guardrails, if you would, to keep us from going off the cliff in those areas in our lives. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, Paul writes this. Okay, look, bad company corrupts good character. If you are around people that constantly are pushing you in the wrong direction, tempting you, constantly putting you in a situation that you know you don't want to be anymore. Maybe you said, I'm going to stop getting stop getting drunk. I'm not going to do it. But you keep hanging around people that do. Guess what? They're going to pull you down. They're going to pull you back in. Maybe you're somebody that wants to change your attitude from being negative and you want to be positive. Yet all your friends always see everything negative. You got to change the company you're around, because bad company corrupts good character. What you feed grows. In temptation, when fed, becomes sin. Sin has appetites. And appetites, the more you feed an appetite, the stronger and more the appetite gets. So you've got to understand, whatever you feed in your life, it's going to grow. If you struggle the way you look at the opposite sex and you continue to keep feeding that, guess what? It's going to get stronger and stronger, bigger and more out of control. You've got to stop feeding that. Your antidote to this, honestly, is read the Bible more, pray more, worship music, small groups. It's the one piece there that I think often we all forget, because the last part, the small group piece, do life with people. Tell people what you're struggling with. Share your fears and concerns of the world. When you tell someone that, they can tell you, hey, you got to change that. When I shared with my mom what I did on that field trip, my mom got to step in and go, Scott, you're crazy talk for feeling guilty. God came to forgive you. You just have to tap into the forgiveness. It's real. Stop being guilty, because guilt just kills you. It doesn't release you to live freely. Guilt kills. Jesus came so that you might live freely. I don't want to live in guilt. I don't want you to live in guilt. So take words from my mom. Move yourself from guilt, a life of guilt, into freedom, where Jesus came and paid it all. I want to take a moment to read through some situational temptations of what I mean, how to apply all of the things that we've read today that my mom taught me in 8th grade. Here are those situational things. If you eat chips, you could eat 9 bags of these chips, right? Anyone? When you are in a grocery store, you skip the chip aisle. You go straight to the toilet paper aisle, if there would be any left. But you see where I'm headed here, right? You have a problem with chips, you love them, you could eat 9 bags of them. So then avoid at all costs the chip aisle. You got a problem with alcohol, you don't go to the bar. When you go to the gas station, you pay outside and don't walk in where there's alcohol. I know you're like, but Scott, is that real? Here's what I understand, is that if you genuinely are struggling with something in your life, it's time to eliminate it, because sin destroys and is destructive. It devours, and I don't want that for you. And so if you know an area in your life that is destroying you and it's a private thing, it's time to get serious. If you're overcoming drugs, don't go around people who smoke and shoot stuff. If every time you go to the gym, you're tempted to go, woo, those yoga pants on that person. Oh my gosh, I'm a fan of yoga pants. Then listen to me. You don't go to the gym. You work out at home on an app. How about this one? You work with someone that you're attracted to, and you know that if they send you on a business trip, something could happen, or man, you're really getting close to them and you are tempted. Then you know what you do? You submit. When we go back into our cubicles, you ask for a transfer, because your marriage is important to you. The people you love are important to you. So you're going to make those switches so it doesn't eliminate the future hopes and dreams, because that's what happens when temptation gives birth to sin. It ruins your future hopes and dreams. It becomes a permanent story. It becomes a permanent of your win part. You don't want those. Why resist a temptation tomorrow if you have the power to eliminate it today? Here's our hopes today, is that you would do what James said. Submit yourselves then to God and resist the devil and he will flee from you. But first, submit your life to God. May you ask God today, what is he speaking to you on today? In that phrase we put up a moment ago, why resist the temptation tomorrow if I have the power to eliminate it today? What are things today you can eliminate? Or as we are going to journey going back into work and going back around those people, maybe some of you are like, I'm actually not struggling with this at the moment because I'm in my house. But I know when I go back to work, I'm going to. I know I'm going to be faced with those temptations again to cheat on the work clock or to cheat on my family member. I'm going to feel that again. These are the steps we begin to take to recognize that. But maybe some of you are sitting in here and you're going, mentally, I've fallen for the temptation of all of those. I started with the thought, I imagined it, and I played out the 5 steps, Scott. Move yourself into first asking Jesus to forgive you of the things you've done wrong. Genuinely saying, Jesus, forgive me. I've messed up. Listen, does Jesus tell you need to go and tell somebody what you did? And then do that. As soon as you ask forgiveness is a turn away. So I'm facing towards you. 180 direction would be to put my back to you. I'm going to be rude for a second. This is what it looks like when we repent. I was headed this way, but now I asked for forgiveness. Now I'm headed away from it. I'm going away. I'm walking away from. When I ask forgiveness, this is what it looks like. The temptation is you, the camera. When I say, Jesus, forgive me, I say, I'm walking away from, I'm going to create space from the stuff that I have fallen for. And that's our hopes, is that as you just say prayers of forgiveness, that you would begin to walk away from it. And I know this is easier said than done, and some of you have got some work ahead of you, and you're not alone. Please reach out and ask. But I thought today I wanted to share something that my mom taught me that has totally changed my life, and I'm so grateful she did, because I learned something about Jesus through my mom. And all moms out there, when you're teaching your kids, may you teach them through Jesus principles. They'll love you for it. So what is Jesus saying to you today, and what are you doing about it? Let's pray. Jesus, I just ask you to speak very clearly to all of us, each one of us, inside of where is it that we have the greatest amount of temptation, that we need to begin eliminating those things today, going away from avoiding, not going, I can handle it. May we remove those phrases from our lives, and may we run towards you and submit our lives to you, Jesus, so that we might be warriors that are not carrying guilt, but we're walking in freedom, and we're excited about you using us to be a light in the darkness. Jesus, those that are right now experiencing your forgiveness in certain areas in their lives, may they be light as a feather and excited on this Mother's Day. Those that have a past that just, may they understand that you've forgiven it. As long as they've asked forgiveness, may we turn our backs from those things, turn away from it, and head towards you, submitting our lives to you. Jesus, we love you. Your name. Amen. Thank you guys for hanging with us today. We have some really good stuff still happening. We love, first and foremost, to always spread good news around here, and we have a great video for you. Before we get to upcoming events and stuff, we would just want to brag on our students. Joey and Michaela, our students director, put out a plea to them this week to do a video talent show, and they aired it on Wednesday. I watched it. I was thoroughly entertained by all of you. We have students that are so talented, from singing, dancing, to editing videos. It's just so good. I thought you needed to see it today, because this would just put a smile on your face. So if you're a mom of one of these kids, happy Mother's Day. You're going to absolutely love this. Check this out.
Do you want to build a snowman? Social distancing. Okay, bye.
Ya no discrimina a nadie, así que vamos a romper todo. Esto se mueve, mira el ritmo como lo tiene. Hago música que entretiene.
Goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, and the major lift. The baffled king composing. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Hi, I'm Holly, and I like strong coffee and the Minnesota Vikings.
Hi, I'm Kristen, and I have cute bangs.
Come on, somebody, please put in the chat room you love that. Ah, man, thank you to our students for doing that. Thank you for putting a smile on our faces. So just honored that you're a part of what we're doing here. Remember, the best is yet to come. You have a bright future. Don't ever let someone put you in a box, which was Joey's teaching on Wednesday. It was so good, Joey. Very, very good. Okay, we're gonna throw it to Kristen. And Kristen, man, well, you know what I love about Kristen is she is a young woman that is growing in her trust in Jesus. To watch her from middle school to now, to see what she's doing and using her talents and getting out of a box is so cool to watch. May she be an inspiration to all of you. Here is the one and only Kristen Escobar.
Happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. I hope you guys are having the most amazing day. Your kids are on their best behavior. They're loving on you and making you feel like a queen and the best mom in the world, because you are. You guys are doing a great job, moms. We love you so much. I just wanted to hop on here and talk a little bit about giving and my personal story with giving and my heart on it. I work as a lifeguard and I don't make a ton of money, and I think in not making a ton of money, people think that what you give isn't enough because you're not giving as much money as someone who makes a lot of money. But Jesus is not asking us to give everything. He's asking us to give what he's called us to give. And just because we don't give as much as somebody else doesn't mean it's not as honoring to him, or he doesn't see the heart behind it. And so that's what I have always held on to, the heart of why I give. And I give in a heart that is grateful to what Jesus has done for me. He's died on the cross. He shows me love and grace when I don't deserve it. And so it's just a little bit of obedience on my part on trusting him. And I have seen blessings through it. I have seen blessings on the other side, and I have seen it not always financially. It's come through maybe prayers that have been answered or relationships in my life that are flourishing. So it just comes in many different forms. So we just want to give you guys an opportunity today to be obedient to what Jesus is asking you to do. If he's nudging you in any way, 2 ways you can give easily at Unlock Church is you can text UNLOCK to 77977 and give that way, or you can visit our website at unlockchurch.com/give and you can give there.
Thank you so much, Kristen. You are awesome. Thank you for teaching us about generosity today. Now, we already spoke about it, but now you get to see Joey and Michaela on video. They're gonna give you our upcoming events. And here's what I love about these two, is that Michaela seems to be the adventurous one, which pulls Joey into, like, watching Michaela dance all over the place and Joey dance with her is hilarious. I love it. This couple is one of those couples that, man, they have a bright future, and the impact they're gonna make for Jesus is gonna be through the roof, and we as a church get to be a part of their journey in reaching the next generation. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you on this fine Mother's Day, Joey and Michaela.
Happy Sunday, everyone. My name's Michaela Sonnenfeld.
My name is Joey.
And we just want to say Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We just want to say thank you for everything that you do for the church, for the community, for your kids. We just want to say thank you. We love you, and we want to give you a gift.
Yes, we have a gift for you today. That's the least we could do for you. You deserve so much because you all are great mothers. And so we want to get you a free Starbucks drink. And how you can get that is you can text Coffee Mama to 31996. And then it will send you a text message with a barcode, and you just bring that to Starbucks and you can get a free drink.
Here is an example of how you can get your Starbucks. Just type into the to section 31996, and then you text in the message part, Coffee Mama. Once you text Coffee Mama and you send it, you'll just wait a little bit, and then a link with the barcode should show up just like that.
I would love for you to do that because you deserve it.
Enjoy, guys. We love you.
Yeah. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Great job, Joey and Michaela. We're excited about summer camp. Get on that, get registered, please. It's gonna be limited to only 300. So first 300 registered, they're going. And then we'll decide if we do a camp after that. Pray for camp that we would be able to continue to raise resources for that as we need some equipment purchases to do live YouTube streaming. So pray with us on that. Hey, thank you so much everybody for hanging with us today. We appreciate it. Thank you for spending part of your Mother's Day with us. Did you know this in Minnesota? It is the fish opener this weekend, so you can go out there and catch yourself a walleye, and I suggest you all do that. Dads, take the moms out and let them go fishing. You don't fish, you watch the kids. That would be a magical Mother's Day, I think. Okay, that said, this one is over. We'll see you next week at 10 a.m. Subscribe to this channel. You can go around and find old teachings and stuff. We enjoy hanging out with you guys. We love you here at Unlocked Church. So cool to be a part of you. See all of you in our digital small groups. Bye now.